Thanks everyone for being here this morning. Hopefully we'll have a good time and learn a few things together. So here's the objectives that you can read. We're going to hit on each of these. All right, well, in Africa, there are 5 animals that are known as the Big Five. Whenever people go to Africa, they want to see the Big Five. But there are more than just 5 animals, or 5 species of animals in Africa. There are actually more than 1,100 species in Africa. Well, at Scottish Rite, these are the Big Five sports. They're called the Big Five because this is what we see most frequently. But you can see on the right side of this graphic, there are more than just the Big Five sports. More than a third of the athletes we see do not play the Big Five sports as their primary sport. And you can see there are lots of these other sports listed there. Now, these not as common or less common sports are actually becoming more common. You can see on this graph, each year, especially the most recent year, 2021, we are seeing a lot more of these less common sports. So these less common sports are becoming more common. And this is how the Big Five nationally compares to our Big Five here at Scottish Rite. You can see it's relatively the same, except for the exception of track and field being switched out with baseball. All right, and this is based upon the Aspen Institute data. The first one we're going to talk about are common injuries in lacrosse. So what's unique about lacrosse? Well, it combines these sudden bursts of movement that involve the lower extremity, but also the trunk, right? These lacrosse players carry the stick and they like to throw that ball really hard, and so there's a lot of rotational forces, but they're also trying to run and sprint and juke past the defenders. In lacrosse, there is some protective equipment that's worn. In male lacrosse, you can see this picture here. They wear a helmet with a face guard. They also have elbow pads, gloves. But in females, they don't have all of that. All they have is just goggles, right? It doesn't even cover the full face. They don't have a helmet. They just have eye protection only. Something else unique about lacrosse is, according to Aspen Institute, it's the highest average household income amongst participants. Now, you may think, well, yeah, professional lacrosse, they can put some heat on the ball, but what about these kids? Well, according to the data here, kids can put some heat on a ball. If you imagine a ball coming 60 miles per hour at you as a defender, if that hits you, that's going to hurt, right? And that's coming from a kid, right? And then as they get up into teenage years and maybe even college age years, they'll be able to put more and more heat on that ball. And so what does that mean for injuries? Like, what do we see based upon the unique demands and unique aspects of lacrosse? Well, of course, you're going to get contusions or bruises from that ball, right? The stick, as people are flinging, hitting each other with the stick. And of course, because females don't have as much face protection, they're going to have more facial injuries in the female side of things than what we see in the males. And concussions, right? That's a very prevalent injury in any type of contact sport, and lacrosse is no exception to that. Then with the running and jumping and juking, you get a lot of lower extremity type injuries as well. Now, something else that's unique about lacrosse is you think about hockey and all of the padding a hockey goalie wears. A lacrosse goalie, they don't have any extra padding. The only thing that's different is they have a different stick. And you can see a picture here of a hockey goalie stick. It just has a bigger net on it. So you have to be a very brave and courageous person to be a hockey goalie with a ball flying at you very quickly with no additional extra equipment. So with what we know about hockey injuries, what are some good injury preventions? Well, the fact that there are a lot of lower extremity injuries, having a good warm-up program. You can see pictures here on the left, that's our walking knee hugs, and then that's a Spider-Man warm-up there in the center of the screen. You want to warm up all the different muscle groups because these lacrosse players are going to be using all the different muscle groups as they move in multiple directions. All right. I don't know that there's much more in regards to warm up to helping avoid that ball coming at you at 70 miles per hour. Well, thanks so much for your kind time and attention. If there's any questions, we're happy to address them at this time.